Truffles Christmas. Christmas was coming. All the little mice had finished their letters to Santa. All, that is, except for Truffle. He couldn't decide what he wanted. I'd really love a hula hoop, but I wish we had a blanket. A nice new blanket without any holes. Then again, you'll have to decide, said Emmeline, his big sister, who always knew best, or Santa won't bring you anything. Here, you'd better start. Oh, all right, a hula hoop then, said Truffle, throwing away his letter. He put his new letter into an envelope and addressed it to Santa Claus, North Pole. On Christmas Eve, the mice hung their stockings up in a neat row. I'm getting a nurse's uniform, announced Emmeline. I'm getting a chemistry set, said George, Truffle's big brother. The littlest mice squeaked excitedly. They wanted teddy bears. Then all the mice went off to bed. Mother Mouse put their blanket over them and tucked them in. It wasn't a very big blanket and didn't quite cover them all. Emmeline got most of the blanket because she was the oldest. Then George, then Truffle. But the littlest mice got none. They lay there shivering in the cold. So Truffle gave them his part of the blanket, but now he was cold. Darn, said Truffle, as he stared out into the darkness. I wish I'd asked for a blanket and not a hula hoop. Suddenly, he sat up. I know. I'll wait for Santa to tell him I've changed my mind. He crept out of bed and tiptoed to the mouse hole door. There he waited and waited, but Santa didn't come. I can't see here, grumbled Truffle. I'll go outside where I can see farther. I'd better take something to eat in case I get hungry. He packed an apple core, a bread crust, and half a peanut, and off he went into the night, dragging his picnic behind him. It was very cold. As he waited for Santa Claus, Truffle got hungry. First he ate his bread crust very slowly. Then he ate his apple core very, very slowly. Finally, he ate his peanut half very, very, very slowly. But still, Santa did not come. Truffle stood up and brushed off his whiskers. I will go to that hill over there, where I can see Santa and Santa can see me, he said firmly, and plodded off. In the woods, a fox barked and an owl hooted. A tabby cat pricked up her ears. Truffle was scared, but he trudged on and on. The clouds covered the stars. It was very dark. Truffle felt all alone and very tired. He sat down and tried to watch for Santa, but his eyes kept shutting. Softly, it started to snow. Truffle fell asleep. "Now," said the fox, "before the snow covers him." "Now," said the owl, "before the greedy fox gets him." "Now," said the tabby cat, "because I'm very, very hungry." Oh no. Then, just before the fox jumped, and the owl swooped, and the tabby cat pounced. There was a tinkling and jingling of sleigh bells. There was a rattling and creaking of harnesses. There was a pattering and shuffling of hooves. But Truffle was sound asleep and didn't notice a thing, until a reindeer snorted in his face and woke him up. "Eek!" squeaked Truffle. "What's this?" said Santa. "A poor little mouse?" Truffle shivered. "Why aren't you in bed?" asked Santa. "I came out here to find you," mumbled Truffle, still half asleep and rather muddled. "I wanted a hula hoop, but we really need a blanket." Said Santa. "I think it's time I took you home." He tucked Truffle into his pocket. And away they went, over the fox, the owl, and the tabby cat, over the forest and hills, over the fields and bushes. Excuse me, over the fields and bushes. Finally, they reached Truffle's home. Truffle was asleep again. So sound asleep that he didn't even stir when Santa finished him out of his pocket and returned him to the mouse hole. Oh, fished him. Okay, there we go. Santa spotted a crumpled piece of paper on the ground. He unfolded it carefully. "Dear Santa," it said in tiny mouse letters, "I would like a hula hoop. Blanket, hula hoop, blanket." "Aha," said Santa. "I see." Emmeline was the first to wake up on Christmas morning. She squealed loudly and woke up George, Truffle, and the littlest mice. They all squealed too, for not only were they lying under the reddest, warmest, coziest blanket they had ever seen, they were lying on the most beautiful bed in the whole world. And Emmeline had her nurse's uniform. George had his chemistry set. The littlest mice had their tiny teddies. And Truffle had his hula hoop. He smiled happily, and on his whiskers still clung a little bit of red fluff from the bottom of Santa's pocket.